it's Jason from Pro Guitar Studio. Today I have a really fun piece for us to work on, and we're going to work on a whole range of different skills. So first off, we're going to dive right into 3-string triads. So if you've never looked at this before, it's a great topic to dive into. If you have worked on them before, we're going to put them into action, and we can work on both major and minor shapes. We're going to do all three on the first 3 strings, so all 3 different inversions or different chord shapes that you can do of each of these chords. So a lot of fun that way. And then once we get those 3-string triads out of the way, we're going to take a look at a nice theme that goes on top of this. We can call it a melody, a theme, whatever way you want to look at it. And this is all in the key of A minor. Okay, so we'll look at that. We'll also talk about the chord progression that I'm doing here, and a whole range of things that you can work on to help build your skills. And you can also work on the recording for this. So I'll include the backing track in the link to the description, as well as that. Because there's so many different parts of this, I will make different titles, different chapters that you can sort of follow and guide yourself to where you want to go. So if you just want to look at the melody, feel free to dive into that, to take a look at the A minor scale. If you want to just look at the triads, go for that. If you want to look at the chords, we can look at that as well, okay? So first things first, I'm going to dive right into the chord changes that I'm using for this piece. So I started with an A minor chord, and I'm not going to go through how to play the chords, but I'll explain what I'm doing here. A minor to E minor to D minor. So if you did them open as bar chords. And then I do A minor, G, F. So A minor, G, F. So it's a little bit funk inspired, but not fully true funk. And then we're going to go back to A minor, E minor, D minor. And then A minor, G, F. And then I do from F to G to F. So here again from the start, A minor, E minor to D minor, A minor, G, F, A minor, E minor, D minor, A minor, G, F. Cool. The other thing that I add in there is when I go to the E minor, I go from A minor, I do a hammer on, so hold that first finger as a bar, and then slide back. So instead of doing, I just make it a little more interesting by adding that hammer on from the bar to the chord. All right, so those are our chord changes. So from there, we're going to dive into the 3-string triads that I put together for this. So I use the first 3 strings. I start with an A minor. So this A minor is up on fret number 14, 12, 13, and 12 on the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string. So A, C, and E. And then basically I'm working towards going from A minor to E minor to D minor, right? So if I did that, the E minor is down on the 7th fret, 8th fret, and 9th fret. So from here, slide that same shape down to 7, 8, and 9, and then down to D minor at 5, 6, and 7. But what I did is I walked between those chords. So in the key of A minor, we'd have, going from A minor down to an E minor, we'd have A minor, G, F, E minor. So my A minor starts off 14, 13, 12 from the 3rd string. And then the G is 12, 12, 10. It's hard to see my fingers there. And then my F is 10, 10, 8. E minor gets strummed twice, and then D minor once. So. All right, so that's the first part. Now the second part, same chords, but different inversion. So I'm going to play the A minor here from the 3rd string down. It's 9, 10, 8. So 9, 10, 8. And then we're going to do the same thing as we walk down. Okay, so we're going to A minor. Then we're going to go to the next chord, which is a G. So 7, 8, 7 on the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string. And then we're going to do our F, 5, 6, 5. And then E minor is 4, 5, 3. So we'd have this kind of thing here. So down to the A minor. And instead of going down further to the D minor here, what I did is I went up to the F. And I'll explain this in a second, okay? So I went, and then 5, 6, 5 for the F chord. Now the reason why I use this shape here, which is typically E minor, over the G, I'm implying a G6. So like, so when I was playing with the progression, that was the chord that sort of fit in there. All right, so I was actually using a G13. So the bass is still the G, but we're doing essentially F, B, and E on top. Now, I showed you the progression just as a standard major chord, because I had a few layers of rhythm in there. So just think of it as G major, but for the higher end arpeggio, or triad I should say, so I went from A minor to a G, to an F, to an E minor shape, but it's over a G, so really it's implying a G6, okay? But it's an E minor, just think of it that way. Back to an F. Then we go back to the first triad progression again. A minor, G, A minor, G, F, E minor, D minor. And then I go to the third way we can play this, which is all the way up on fret number 17, sorry. 17, 17, 17. That's an A minor shape. And then I do the G shape, which is fret number 16, 15, 15. A little hard to get in there, right? Now, if you're playing the acoustic, you can do 5, 5 and 5, 4, 3, 3, instead of... Then I do 14, 13, 13 for the F chord. And then the E minor shape, which again doubles as a G6. But I'm playing that E minor shape, which is 12, 12, and 12. Back to an F, which is 14, 13, 13. So down here it'd be, if you're playing the acoustic, okay? At the very end, I take that F chord. I'm going to slide from 14, 13, 13, slide up 2 frets, and then back down. All right, so from the beginning, we had 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. All right, and so there is our triad. There are our triad inversions. And so 3 different ways to play each of those chords. And so like I said, when I do the G6 chord, just think of that as E minor for now, because otherwise it's just getting too confusing. But there's other ways you can use these triads other than just the root voicing of the chord. So instead of doing like E minor, that can also stand in for a G6 if you wanted to. And there's many other ways you can look at it, depending on how deep you want to get into it. But I'll save that for this lesson, just make it nice and simple, and not even focus on the note names there, just give you those shapes to play with, okay? Next up, let's look at the melody that we're going to take a look at here. So it's all in the key of A minor, but I do jump around quite a bit, so just keep that in mind as we go. The first one I'm going to play is the 5th fret, string number 1, and we're going to play 5, 7, 8, 7, 5, and then the second string, 8, 5, to the 7th fret, string 3. And most of these notes are off beat, so like 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all off the beat, which makes it a lot of fun. And I'm playing them very staccato, so in between there is space. I'm not going like... I'm going to relax my fingers in between. And the next phrase I do in here, and that's over the... Da, 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 da. A minor, E minor, D minor, and then we're going to go pull off from 7 to 5 on the 3rd string, to the 7th fret on string number 4, 5th fret string 3, to 7th fret string 3. Okay, second time, so second phrase, it just changes up a little bit. So I'm going to go 5, 7, 8 on the 1st string, to 10, 8, 7, to 10 on the 2nd string, to 8 on the first string. Okay, and that note at the end there is when the F chord comes in. So, da, 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 da. Just so you sort of hear the context of the melody. And then the phrase I do at the end of that, I go 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, sorry, 8, 10, 12, 10, 8. All right, now next phrase is very similar to the first one. So same first half, and then I go. So I'm taking the third string, 7th fret, third string, 7th fret, yeah, 6th fret on string number 2, and I pull off as a double pull off, or 2-string pull off, to the 2nd string, 3rd string on the 5th fret, to the 7th fret string number 4. Then I slide up from 7 and 8, or 7 and 6, sorry, to 9 and 8. Back to 5 and 5. So. Just some nice flavor at the end. And then the very last final phrase, I go 5, 7, 8, 10, 8, 12, 8, to 15. Sorry, slide up there. And that on the F means that last note, it seems a little weird, but it's the 9th interval, so. And then I come up here to 17, sorry. 17 pull off to 15 on the first string. To 17 on string number 2. 19 string 1 to 17 string 2. All right, and at the end there, that just sort of implies the E note on top of the F major 7. So nothing too crazy there, and more of that was created by the sound of it as opposed to thinking about it. So anything I'm thinking about there and explaining what the intervals are, that was thought of afterwards. The scale, the A minor scale to me is almost like I know like the back of my hand. So as I go through that, I can use my ear to figure out what sounds good. And so as I was crafting that, I was more thinking of the scale notes, not thinking of the interval compared to the chord as I was writing it, but then looking at it after to try to figure out what it was and like why it sounds good, right? All right, so we'll play it slow down. Now keep in mind the first beat is actually a rest in here. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. First 8th note, I guess. Double stops. Okay, then from there I run into a solo, and that was all improvised, but I did like, I know the first phrase that I did in there was a really fast triplet pull-off thing. But that's all within the A minor pentatonic and the A natural minor scale. So for that part there, I'd say just don't worry about learning my part. I'll just keep on the backing track just the recording of the triads and the melody. And then we'll leave that rest of it open, okay? So I'll have one section of the triads, one section of the melody, and then the rest of it open for you to improvise in the key of A minor. So if you know the A minor pentatonic, run through that. The A natural minor too. Those are both fun scales to work with. So any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy this, please also let me know so I know what kind of content you actually enjoy playing around with and learning. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos like this each week, and I'll see you soon.